Hey everyone, namaste. It's another video from me today. I went out dancing again last night and have gone out dancing for the last couple weeks, and it's been great. Dancing is something that challenges me because I am not naturally gifted at socializing and talking to people. In fact, it's been something that's been awkward and hard for me ever since I was a young child, since I first developed the consciousness to interact with other humans. And for whatever mysterious reason, it seems to be the most difficult for me when I'm talking to women who I find very beautiful or attractive. And I have not been able to overcome that here at 47 years old. And it's probably because of a couple of reasons. I'll share what I think they are, and then I'll share why I'm sharing this and where I'm going with this video. I think it's because I feel like that their optionality, the number of men after them, is so vast that I'll never be good enough or fit anywhere in their life in any capacity. Number two, I feel like because they have that great optionality, if I ever truly connected with one of them, it would not be long lasting. There would very quickly become another guy who has better energy, is happier, is more successful, and fits her better because of the amount of exposure women get like that to men in this world. And then there's my own fears and insecurities of feeling not good enough and not knowing what to say and being stifled and having a difficult time talking to them. And all of this is my own issue. It's for me to reflect on and try to figure out. And I might never figure it out. It's just something I've noticed for my entire life. And it's not good because it puts that kind of woman on a pressurized pedestal, it puts pressure on her, immediate pressure on her, because when I talk to someone like that, there's an immediate filtering of my own personality. I'm not being completely myself. I'm not saying the things that I want to. Whereas when I'm around people and I don't feel that pressure, I feel much more able to be myself and to interact freely and in exactly who I am with my own energy. So I bring all this up because I noticed it again last night while I was dancing, and it's a challenge for me. And I got a good comment this morning on one of my prior videos. It was my video about the woman who said I'm not dating right now, and this comment was from a Sarah T, I believe, and she talked about how people, not just women, are taking time to essentially take a journey inwardly, single and alone, and not seek out any dating or relationships in order to reach a state of being where they are not vampiric in their energy and the things they need, and to not be codependent. And it was very well written, very well articulated, very advanced writing and consciousness in that comment from Sarah T. So thank you for sharing that comment, Sarah. It was so good, in fact, that it's allowed me to take time this afternoon here on a Saturday to reflect and think about my own journey and what I'm doing and what I'm trying to accomplish and this one life I have. And it's very clear that my attempts in dating and relationships are failing, are just flat out failing. What I'm doing isn't working. And I may never get to a point that I'm able to succeed in this quest, but certainly one thing I have control over is to take a step back and to reflect and think on why this is and where my failings are and what's going wrong. So I think it's worth me taking my own personal inward journey and a focus inwardly on myself, and especially on my health and my mental health and my flaws and my weaknesses and things I'm trying to improve, especially my being stifled around the beautiful women of this world. I get that beautiful women in this world are highly sought after by men. It's just the way it is. And I think it's been that way for the entirety of this world. It's just the way it is. And I'm in the same boat. I have the same desires and wants as any other man. But being so stifled and having my behavior become affected and feeling awkward and nervous around these kinds of women is something for me to think about and try to figure out. And I've explained already why I think it's happening. So can it be fixed? Can this challenge I have be fixed? I don't know. My body is in a wrecked state. I have multiple joints that ache. I have pulled muscles. I'm 47, but I feel like I'm 87 right now. I feel like I'm falling apart. And certainly there is likely a mental or psychological aspect to this occurring in my body, the pressure I put on myself and the pressure I feel in life. And I'm not in a relaxed state. I mean, I'm pretty relaxed as I'm doing this video. I don't feel really any stress or pressure, except the pressure I'm putting on myself. And I'm putting a lot of undue pressure on myself. And so I think it's an opportunity for me to take time alone and to reflect, to journal more often, to continue to eat an exceptionally clean diet, to lose weight, get in better shape and condition, to spend time meditating and reflecting, and to still go out dancing, of course, because it puts me in a situation where I get to challenge myself and feel that social pressure on myself, that natural social pressure that's been there since I can remember as a kid that developed consciousness, and to use the experience for the enjoyment of the moment, to just have fun, and to eliminate, to go to 0% on wanting anything from anyone. Last night when I was dancing, I was standing along the edge of the dance floor, and a woman came next to me on my left. She walked and stood right next to me, and I knew, I was pretty sure she was doing that because she wanted me to talk to her. So a minute or so later, I started talking to her, and she was receptive to me talking to her, and we danced about 3 times. And part of me was thinking, oh, I should ask her for her number and ask her out. But I chose not to. It was fine. Our dances were fine, but I didn't feel anything warranting me to do that. In other words, I think I learned from the week before and just let myself enjoy the moment, even though I felt kind of the internal struggle of whether I should do that or not. And I think she could feel that a little bit. We're all very intuitive beings, especially the women of this world. So I think she could feel that a little bit. And after our 3rd dance, we kind of parted ways, and that was it. We didn't talk anymore for the night, and I didn't see her again. So perhaps maybe I'm learning a little bit from my experiences, but clearly it doesn't work. It's not working for me as a man to have my primary focus trying to find someone to truly connect with. It's not working. And I don't see other men focusing on it like I am, that there's more of a focus on their life and their career and their fitness and their hobbies, and you do that and then you'll attract someone by who you are. And I don't like that either, because I feel like doing that for the sole purpose of attracting someone is the same approach, just a different window dressing of how it's being done. It's just not stating it obviously through a verbal affirmation of it. You're still trying to do the same thing. You're just not making it obvious. It's slightly manipulative in my opinion. So better, I think, is to say that I'm failing at this quest. What I'm doing isn't working, and to state that truth and to give myself time to focus on the healing of my body, to get my health in a better state, mentally and physically, to reach a place where I can approach the situation from a position of strength and greater peace, so that if somehow the miracle occurs and there is someone that I like that likes me as well, happens, that she doesn't need to manage my health. She doesn't need to see me in states of being where it's difficult. And life is ups and downs, of course. Some days are good, some are bad. It's not like we all go through life and never have a bad day or a difficult time or our energy is low. That's going to happen, but I'm just clearly not in a state that this quest of mine is going to work. So this video I'll call Spending Time Alone. That's it. It'll just be called Spending Time Alone. And I'll use the time to journal, to work out regularly at the gym, and to slowly heal my body. And it seems like a never-ending quest, my health, the difficulty of my health, and to mentally and emotionally work on getting in a state where I can relax around any woman. That would be great. We'll see if I'm able to do that. So this is just some reflections I'm doing, my own inner reflections, and trying to do my best to align with reality exactly as it is. And that is, I'm just not good enough for the kind of women I'm finding interest in. And I don't say that as any kind of belittling or hate toward myself. I don't feel that way about myself. I'm actually very proud of myself for where I've gotten to at this point in life. By all accounts, I really shouldn't have had any kind of life. I was a mentally challenged child at a few years of age. And the thought was that I would have to be taken care of for the rest of my life, and I'd never be able to fit into society because I was a mentally retarded, challenged, autistic child at a young age. So I recognize the miracle that I'm even participating in life. The fact that I can even participate in life and have any semblance of interaction with people and hold down a steady job as a software engineer. And I've had 2 children. I was married once for 14 years. That I've even been able to do anything in my life is a miracle. But that doesn't mean that I should look at life as, if I can just make it out of bed every day, that's a victory. I still think I can contribute to this world and not use the childhood development challenges I had as an excuse to not succeed in this life. I don't think that's the right approach either. So I'll take this quest of mine and put it on a shelf and do my best to interact with the women of this world from a place of simple sharing and enjoying the present moment and not seeking. And I don't think I'll succeed every time. I'm sure I'll come across people I dance with and the thought will occur to me, man, it would be nice to go out with this person. that's likely going to happen. But I can simply take those thoughts and those feelings and say, I'm not going to act on this. I'll still just work on sharing from a place of joy and love and care and kindness without seeking, without taking the act to seek anything. I think all of us as humans, we feel certain things. We feel certain things, but we can take those feelings or those things we feel like are happening to us, and we can recognize them and even feel them. Like, take for instance a couple videos ago where with many of the comments I felt an immediate lower level response, or a base level response, maybe is a better way to put it, of that person's being very aggressive and threatening me. And I felt that with many of the comments, but I didn't act on it, even though I felt it. And so I'm proud of myself for that. Instead, I allowed myself to feel it as each one came in, and I simply responded in a way that I thought would be positive or focusing on the good. So that was a success or a victory. As I look online on many threads and posts on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or X, it's very much a chaotic, listen to what I'm saying, not seeking to understand before being understood. There's a lot of that in the world. It's one of the great problems or challenges in the world, is nobody's listening to each other and trying to understand another's point of view. And I have work to do on this as well. But I do believe not responding in the same way that someone approached me is a start. Maybe some of those people that commented on that video a couple videos ago, maybe a seed was planted of some kind, a seed that they saw me not react aggressively. They saw me react from a place of kindness. And I get why, especially men, don't act that way. It's a sense of ego and pride and not letting someone walk over you. So I get why the response would be not to be that way if someone feels threatening, but instead to respond with even greater force and kind. But that just leads to an ever escalating, unhelpful and non-productive way of communicating. There's no growth, or it's just like a ever evolving arms race. And for us to evolve as humans, it's going to require a good chunk of humanity evolving to a higher level of consciousness. I look at it like the way I have conversations with my twin brother. I have a twin brother, believe it or not. And we have very different political views. He is I don't think I can box this way, but he's more of a Democrat in support, like in the last election. He's more of a Democrat in support of Kamala Harris here in the US, where I'm much more aligned with what Donald Trump views and Elon Musk. And my twin brother is he sees both of them as not good people in this world. And so whenever we have a discussion about it, there's never an argument. We simply listen to the other's point of view. And I'll say to him, I'm curious about your feelings on Elon Musk and what makes you think he's a bad person, or his point of view is why he has the point of view on Elon Musk. And I just sit and I listen. And after I listen and ask questions to clarify things, I can say, oh yeah, I can see why you would feel that way. Yeah, it makes sense. Very much makes sense. He is pretty blunt. He has some rough edges. He is very much in some cases extreme on some of his views. He has no wiggle room on diversity, equity, and inclusion, for instance. Everything's merit based. I can see why you would think that that's very cutthroat and non empathetic. And I can have a productive dialogue, and he listens to me the same way. And at the end, we say, huh, I can see why you feel that way. And we retain our same beliefs. It's not, the conversation is not to persuade each other differently. The conversation is to seek to understand another point of view. So I can understand, even though I support Elon Musk and Tesla, and I think Donald Trump is far from perfect, but the best candidate that the US has. I can still believe that, but I can also gain clarity and understanding on their rough edges and why people think differently about them. And their thoughts are valid and even true. Like, I can see the truth in what people are saying. And in the end, I can say, wow, yeah, that gives me a greater perspective and understanding. And I think that's the way for humanity to rise in consciousness, is to have dialogues in that way of being. And it's difficult because we all feel the base level emotions of fight or flight. And the natural response to that is to draw your weapons or sword and attack back, because we have those from our, I guess, early days in the caves, or when we had to fend for our lives much more than we do now. So things like that are important and part of taking a journey alone, taking time alone on an inward journey. Maybe I'll call the video that, taking time alone on an inward journey will be to further look at that and the things that I struggle with, to really examine that and continue to do these videos and share what I'm learning. And there may not be a way for me to overcome the awkwardness and the stifling I feel around the kind of women I'm attracted to and find beautiful. I may never be able to overcome this, but if I meet someone like that and somehow we talk, and we talk long enough that I feel like she understands me and actually is accepting of me, that awkwardness and stifling goes away. It may be that that's just a simple barrier and cost, or barrier that has to be overcome, the amount of bravery it takes to still do something while being afraid. That may be something that's just the litmus test. And so I have met beautiful women where I discovered she was a very kind, empathetic person, and she saw me and allowed me the chance to be vulnerable and be myself, and I didn't feel diminished because of it. And when that happens, that stifling and awkwardness goes away. I can be much more myself. So in some sense, I'm grateful that I have this filter, or this calibration maybe. This might be me being calibrated and knowing that social interactions don't just happen every time naturally. Everyone has a guard or a sensor going on for whoever they're talking to and they see. And that's just a social construct in the world. But I'll be examining this and many other things as I take a step back and realize that I'm not succeeding in my quest. And if I can do some growing up and learning and get myself in a better or stronger or more conscious state, then at least I'm a better man than I was in the past. And then I can reignite this quest when I feel like I'm in a place that I can do so without feeling any attachment or need for another person. And if I never get to that point, then I can accept that I'll be a monk alone forever, and be willing to accept that I'm not conscious or good enough to reach that level. and that's fine. If I have a cap on my ability in this life, then so be it. I will take that cap and say my mission is that mission or quest I'm on is truly impossible for me. So be it. But we'll see what happens as I pivot and work on myself, take time alone, and remove the proactive nature of this quest, because yeah, it's definitely not working. And I'll do videos periodically to share how it's going and what I'm learning as I take this inward time. And hopefully some good comes from it. Hopefully I can grow up and evolve and be a better man, be more masculine in the way that masculinity matters, as a leader, a source of light, a source of joy, giving gifts and light to others. Masculine in the sense that I continue to strengthen myself and am proactive in my own development. All the good things from masculinity there are: proactive leadership, being the source of joy and light, clarity, boundaries, working hard, those kinds of things. So I'll do that. And I'm grateful for all of you who watch, who share, who comment, especially the really thoughtful, well-articulated comments. Your comment, Sarah T, was very timely. And I recognize those kinds of timely things in my life as little clues to me of direction for me to take. So I'll take this time alone now and focus inwardly. I'm not dating right now is now me. In some part because what other choice do I have? I see that I'm sort of boxed into this choice. It's what other choice do I have? Who I am and what I'm doing is not working. So it's time to pivot and try something else. But a very reflective time for me this morning, and there's no judgment. There's no judgment toward myself or others that I've interacted with. No judgments at all. No judgments to anyone who's commented on my videos, no matter how aggressive or negative I think they were. There's no judgment. There's no hate. There's simply an acknowledgement of reality as it is. And I'll do my best to try to be a better human and a better man in the future. And we'll see how it goes. So now we're at 28 and a half minutes, just about. And if you made it this far in the video, then thank you for watching and listening to some thoughts from my own small corner of YouTube, my very microscopic corner of YouTube. And the video from a couple videos ago definitely gave me a taste of what it would be like if I started to get a lot more views, if I started getting thousands or more views a day or per video on average. I know that I would encounter a much greater variety of comments, and that video gave me a taste of what that would be like in maintaining my same way of being through the much greater variety of comments there would be. To succeed and gain greater attention is to get opposing viewpoints and challenging viewpoints, whether they're well thought out or not, whether they're spoken from a kind tone or an aggressive negative tone. Those kind of comments will increase if I ever start to grow in my YouTube channel and beyond the 30 to 50 average views I get per video. And now I will need to be able to navigate those waters and withstand the heat of that, because every person I see that is not an influencer, just someone who's getting attention, who's getting a lot of views or impressions on their videos and posts. There's always opposing forces. There's opposing forces, and the greater your reach, the greater the opposing force, all the way up to someone like Elon Musk. It is astounding to me the amount of opposing forces he gets, or any president, whether it's Donald Trump or Kamala Harris, the other candidate. Both got a lot of support and both got a lot of heat and opposing force. I don't think there is any place you can get to in this world as you succeed and gain more influence that you can do so where everybody agrees with you. I don't think it's possible. You will get opposing forces and viewpoints no matter what. Even if I got to a point where I was receiving a lot more impressions and views and I was like Gandhi or like Christ, or doing my best to be that way, I'm going to get opposing forces and viewpoints. No matter how hard I try to do my best and be a good person, there will be opposing viewpoints. There's always an opposite and equal reaction in physics and in humans. If you've ever watched the Count of Monte Cristo movie, when Edmond Dantes is in prison and the priest is talking to him, and this is in the movie from, was it the early 2000s? He takes two rocks and he slides them together and then they go apart. And he talks about this opposing force in physics he says and in man, but I'll say in humans. Whatever I do, this opposing force will exist. It's a truth of reality. So it's up to me to have the strength, the mental fortitude to be able to take it all from an observer point of view and to treat it all as the life experience and reality that it is, as an opposing force. Okay, now we're at 33 minutes. I'm going to end this video with gratitude and appreciation for all of you that watch. And I'm grateful I have the freedom to explore life, to greater understand myself and others. And this life is messy. It's difficult. You can see it in the news. You can see it with the fires in Los Angeles, California. People are losing their homes and their life. And then you see the opposing forces with the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, the backlash he's receiving. It's an astounding amount of lashing and opposing forces. And I don't know enough about Gavin Newsom to say one way or the other, but certainly he's definitely feeling that opposing force right now. So anyways, gratitude. I'll end this video now. Namaste. We'll see you next time.